April the 11th today, and we are currently at 23 degrees. It's absolutely boiling in the sun, and I've decided today would be the day to get this new blueberry in a bigger pot. I bought it only yesterday, but I am absolutely obsessed with blueberry plants. I bought 3 last year and they've wintered really well and they look amazing. And I went to the garden centre yesterday and I saw this new variety. I think it's called Pink Lemonade, I need to double check. And I didn't even hesitate, I just put it straight in my basket. So I didn't buy Ericaceous soil and I went to buy it today, and that garden centre is completely out of stock, so I had to go to B&Q, which is quite depressing actually. The lack of spring, the lack of like anything really apart from soil and pots and rocks. There was nothing in there. I prefer to go to a smaller garden centre anyway to like support them, but they just didn't have it, so I had to go down there, which worked out absolutely fine. So I'm just replanting it in a pot which isn't much bigger. Annoyingly, I need to buy some bigger pots. I've got a couple of really massive ones, and then I've got medium-sized ones, which is what this plant's going into, which you can't really see a lot of because I've got the camera too high, but maybe you can just imagine it. It's an improvement from what it is in, or at least was in, but not quite big enough, but it will do for now. At least it will keep it well watered more than the little pot will do. So you can't really see it here, but I'm just wiggling in all of the Ericaceous soil around the pot. It came in one of those, I think it's a 3 litre rectangular pot, but when I removed the plant, I don't know if you could see on that part of the video, it wasn't rooted all the way down to the bottom. It was a small like root ball, and it had been put in that one. So I don't really know why that is, because the 3 other blueberry plants that I got from the same supplier came from memory all the way down the roots were, so maybe this one will take a little bit longer. But here I am just getting that done. I've done a few jobs in and around the garden lately. This garden is definitely a massive project, and I now have accepted on the 3rd summer, we're going into the 3rd summer since we've been here, this garden is going to take me years to do, and currently it's taken me extra long because I have a back injury of some sorts, and that is really awful and it's really thrown a spanner in the works. So I'm just doing what I can, but I am in constant pain at the moment, so all of the heavy jobs are on hold again, and I'm just doing small things that I know are going to make me happy going forward. So I'm getting this blueberry, I need to look up the name now, I'm sure it's Pink Lemonade. Getting this blueberry plant in, and then I'm going to show you around what I've been doing. I've got some seeds in. I didn't want to plant anything in the house this year because we don't have a lot of space, and so I'm trying really hard to see how much I can get from seeds which I plant outside in little plastic pots, and I just got a new little greenhouse which you'll see on the side of my makeshift one. And for anyone who wonders why that one has just got like tarpaulin over the top, the big one behind me here, there used to be a cat who liked to jump on the old cover, and so it ripped it to shreds. But also I realised that when that whole cover was on that big one just behind me there with the shelves on either side, you can stand in it, it was so hot that I had to tend to any plant or seed that was in there every single day, more than once a day, and it just wasn't practical. I can't do it around work, it just wasn't working. So the cat actually did me a favour, because I actually didn't have that cover on there, and then I realised that it would be good for a little bit of shelter, and I just got this cheap bit of tarp from Lidl, I think it was, and just strapped it to the frame, and it works wonderfully. It keeps a little bit of heat in there, but you can see now it's next to the new one, but there's still airflow going through, so it's like a really, really rubbish polytunnel, and it just works. I'm just happy with it. It doesn't look good, but it works for what I need it for, so at the minute it's amazing. So I got the one on the side here, this 5-tier, like straight up and down greenhouse on the left. Yeah, I got that a couple of days ago, and I think it's fantastic. It's exactly what I need for what I have going on. So when plants are a little bit taller, with the bigger greenhouse, I like how I can remove the shelves and leave the frame, and I can have plants like growing through it, but inside. This one is going to be a little bit trickier because of the spaces, but I can still remove those wire shelves. And I was thinking maybe I could use it as like a tomato tent once all of my seedlings are established. We'll see. But I just really needed more shelves to try out more seeds. I've had some success with seeds last year, but I do find that really they need to be, a lot of them started off indoors, and I don't have the space for that. And so I do want to use stuff, grow stuff, from seed, but sometimes it's really hard, and sometimes it's quite cheap to buy seedlings that are already established, that have been done en masse, and then you buy them and you grow those plants. So I'm still on the fence. I'm not really sure. I want to be able to grow from seed. Last summer, everyone in the UK was struggling with snails, so all of my seedlings pretty much last year that I successfully grew and got potted on, they all got eaten by slugs. So I don't know, it's a lot of work. It's not cheap, but it's also cheaper. So I'm just showing you here. I planted these maybe 10 days ago, and I've got my first cucumber plant sprouting, so I'm really chuffed with that. So I've got a couple of those propagators in the big greenhouse there with the lids. I've got a plastic storage box on the floor which works wonders, by the way, if you've got a spare one laying around, because those little propagator boxes, they can get quite pricey if you need several. And then where I had loads of other seeds that I wanted to try growing, that's what prompted me to get that 5-tier one. That I thought about that for about at least a week before I did it, because I was trying to make the right decision for space, for money, and I just thought go for it because it can kind of have multi-use. And then I already had that plastic box on the floor, and then those propagators on the shelves, I already had those from last year. I bought those one at a time. I've actually got one from B&Q, which I think is on the right, and then the other one on the left is a branded one. I can't remember. And from memory, I think the branded one was slightly more expensive, but the B&Q one is actually better, I think, because it doesn't have holes in the base. So when I water the B&Q one, it retains the water, which on these hot days especially, I think is really good. Whereas the other one drains. I don't know. I feel like I need a tray to go under that tray, which defeats the object. And it wasn't cheap either, so there you go. While I'm just having a little mooch around, these two planters that are at the front of the greenhouse, the daffodils have gone now, which is such a shame. But I've read that I need to leave them alone so that they can photosynthesize a bit more for next year, so they're staying there for now. I got these two new green trays today. I had the black ones already. Luckily they fit. And I'm going to grow seeds straight into these trays because I have run out of little pots and I just want to try doing it. So I've got garlic chives, which I've never grown before, and basil, which I thought I had loads of seeds left of that actually from last year, but I couldn't have. If I have, I've lost them. So I bought those today, and yeah, I'm going to try. I've never tried to grow seeds just flat in a tray before. I usually always use small pots or little modules. So here I'm just getting seedling soil, and I'm buying everything as much as possible. I'm buying everything in small bags at the moment so that I'm not lifting heavy bags, apart from one was heavy today. Which if you've done any gardening buy-in at all, it's always cheaper to buy the larger quantity, the bigger bag of soil. You get more for your money if you buy more. So buying smaller bags is very painful, not physically but on the purse strings, because it's just rubbish when you look at litres to pence. But I had to think of my injury today, so it's fine. I got a couple of small bags where I could like make it work in my mind, and then one of the bags that with the multi-purpose, I was like, this is crazy. I just can't buy a small bag of that, because you really lose out value when you buy tiny. So I got one big bag, but I made sure that it was the one that was had the least moisture, so it was the lightest possible. That's how we're doing things at the moment. I knew that I didn't want to plant that many more seeds this year, so I thought I'll just get a small bag for these seedlings, for this seedling soil, and just accept that it's probably, well, I know it's definitely better value if I would have bought a bigger bag, but there we go. So I'm just watering the soil before I put anything in. It's absolutely blinding the sun today. I can't believe that I thought that I could possibly face the camera and not be blinded. So I'm planting the garlic chives first, and we'll see how those come up. I've never grown those before, but I love garlic, and I forgot to plant my garlic last winter. And every year I say, oh, I'm going to order elephant garlic, and I don't do it, and I must do that this year. So we're going to just sprinkle these on and try it out. I read the instructions, and then I just do what I want anyway. So pray for me. Pray for the seedlings. Yeah, let's see what happens here. I don't know. It says on both packets, average of 100 seeds. I don't know where those 100 are, because it doesn't look like 100. But okay. So I used, I think, about half of the packet, maybe slightly more, for the garlic. And for the garlic chives, I literally just sprinkle it all over. Once I can get it open, I just go ham on it and just go for it. But with the basil, I tried to do it in lines. There's no reason behind this other than I keep watching farming videos, and I was just thinking about that when I was planting the basil, and I just like how everything is linear on the fields. That is literally what that is. It doesn't go any further than that. So that's what happened there. So yeah, I'll save some of these packets for maybe later on if these ones flop, or if they don't fail, that would be amazing. And then I'll just save them and see if I can get away with using some either later in the season or next year. We'll see. I think on these packets said they're good until 2029. I don't know if once you open the packet that diminishes, or if that's true forever. If anyone knows who might be listening to this, please let me know. So I have no water in the garden, no access to water easily in the garden. So I run a hose down to the garden from where I live, but I also keep any used water bottles and fill them up at the same time. So when I can't get the hose out every single day. I mean, when it gets to heat wave season, I try to, but yeah, for little things like this, I just keep loads of bottles. And I actually have a collection of 5 litre bottles, but over the winter they've developed algae, and I just don't want to use them until I've cleaned them out, and they're quite hard to clean because of the narrow neck of the opening. So when I'm researching online, that was the best way to clean them, because I also love to watch pool cleaning videos. I don't know if anyone else does. And when they've got like green pools, they just put in this tablet and it kind of like neutralizes all of the algae. I feel like that must exist for this purpose, because just putting in fairy liquid, I'm worried. But if I put washing up liquid in there, I'm worried that I won't get it all out, and then cleaning will take ages and ages and ages to get rid of the bubbles, and then I might end up putting it on my plants, which I wouldn't want to do. So I use an eco one anyway, but I don't think it'll be good for the plants if they get too much of that in the soil. So then I was thinking I could use like sterilising tablets like Milton, but I'm not sure that that would work. I don't know. So my 5 litre bottles at the minute are lying dormant until I work out how to clean them. And for now I'm just using pretty much 2 litre or 1.5 litre water bottles. So I suppose that is a good way of recycling. But I've got a little stash of water down there, so if I'm doing any seeds or if anything looks like it's in trouble. Like yesterday I went down to the garden and my pink Photinia just looked awful, like it was so thirsty. But yesterday I did end up getting out the hose, so everything got a good drink. So yeah, these trays I'm just going to leave in there. It's, as I said at the beginning of the video, I think it's 23 degrees at the minute, so I've left the garden. I'll pop down there in a few hours when it's cooled down and I'll put everything to bed. So here I'm just making a little record. We've got beans growing there, aubergine at the back, cucumbers on that tray as well, tomatoes I think, and then this is all sweet peas. I love sweet peas, one of my favourite flowers. These are the sunshine beans. I just separated those, they came in one pot. There's a picture. And then on this tray I've got all tomatoes, a little bit more pepper and a couple of carrots. I want to plant some more carrots. I'm wondering if I should buy some already started, I'm not sure. And then in this tray down here I've got a real mix. So I think in those modules there it's food. In the module that I've just picked up there is flour. Yeah, there's more beans in there. What's this one? Tomato. And then that back one there, leek. Oh yes, and these 3 brown pots are phlox flowers. Really beautiful ones. I wonder if they'll come up. And then that back tray there is a mixture of rocket and radish. If you have never grown radish before, look at how, if you can see, I'm not really focusing on it. Oh, and that tray there is Aquilegia, so there's flowers and veg in those pots. If you've never grown radish and you are new to growing seeds, grow radishes, because they just sprout so quickly, you feel like really successful. And I don't really even like the taste, but they're healthy, they're good for you, and they grow quick, so I'm growing them every year now. So here I've got leeks and cucumbers, and there's that tiny little cucumber coming up there. It's just so exciting. I think on like review of this video, I think I need to plant more carrots. We'll see. I've also got onions in there, not very many. So I've got all my strawberries hanging. All the strawberries are going to be hanging this year because the snails last year were a joke. And I've got one tomato plant that I bought from the garden centre as well. I usually do half and half, half seeds, half plants. We'll see how we go in the next couple of weeks with seeds. If they're not performing, I'll go down the garden centre and stock up on a few plants. This is my collection of blueberries. Now, as I said at the beginning, I'm absolutely obsessed, and I know that they like to be like, they're like companions, so they like to be all together. So those 3 are all different varieties. Last year I planted them, they were a fraction of the size, and they're just doing so well. So I don't take a video of this, but I squeeze the new one onto that bench. I need to rearrange them, but I need to keep them up as well. And this is just a little record for me, if nothing else, of what's currently going on the 11th of April in the garden. So I've got pots everywhere, the floor isn't done, that's a blackberry bush in the back there. I've got loads going on. There's a pile of rocks that needs to go, either someone wants them or to the bin, we'll see. But I just can't lift at the minute. This injury is really affecting me. It's awful, honestly. So if I can come in the garden, even if there are a million jobs that I know need doing, little trips are so welcome right now.